I just bought the AMD 3945WX ThreadRipper Pro, and it has arrived. I thought things were gonna go a little like this when I first bought it. Profits, gonna make money selling old hardware, gonna get some new stuff, oh, so much money. But the reality ended up being a little bit more like this. Tons of work to do. To get the ThreadRipper WRX80 out, I've got that currently as the storage head end. However, I strongly suspect I can just slide in the Z440's guts. Oh my gosh, I hope it's ATX. We're gonna find out though. So this is gonna be a little bit of home labbing with a lot of emphasis on the labbing aspect. If you're not tearing it down, if you're not building it back up, and if you're not making it better, are you really home labbing? There's a lot to go through here. A lot of hands-on, a lot of hardware, so this will hopefully be pretty fun. So we're gonna be doing a full teardown on the Z440, which I'm not sure how I feel about this, and not sure if this is gonna work either, but sometimes you learn the hard way, sometimes things do work out, and this motherboard does look surprisingly ATX-ish. I think it might work, and definitely the power supply, probably more than adequate for what we're going to be using in there. We will not have the 3060s on that rig. Instead, the 3060s are going to be moved over to our GPU rack rig, and we're going to take the 5060 Ti 16GB GPUs and build out our desktop VDI infrastructure on those. Part of having a really good home lab is also managing the capital that you're expending and keeping life cycles in mind for when you sell, when you buy, and when you optimize. Right now, we are key in my optimization and selling cycle. Z440 still at $129, a pretty killer little rig, and the capabilities that you can get in one of these are pretty awesome. Hard drives out of here. And there are adapters also that they make for this, so you could, if you wanted to, swap in a more standard PSU. All right. So now really all I got to do is take it out. It looks like it'll just pop out pretty easily there. I'm not sure if it comes off on this board. No, gonna have to get those first. I think this is all going to work just fine. The more I look at it, it looks like it probably will. If you have this not plugged in here, it will get kind of noisy. So I'm going to see if I can get these plugged in, just make sure that it's not reporting errors, especially that USB one will halt the system boot if it's not plugged in. So that's kind of a bummer. The other two look like they just attach in also. So this might actually work out better than I was thinking. That came apart really easy. God, I hope that rest of this goes that easy. It is basically ATX. These two here do not look like they will have a mount point. Very excited to see that most of these holes have a home, and yeah, this should be able to be supported by a standard ATX. This is just one of the mount plates like I was using before. I actually kind of like these things a lot now. These are actually really cool. All right, so let's get the other motherboard pulled out, and that means I need to move all this stuff over here. And you. And using the Gen 4 lanes for the Gen 3 performance, that the SAS HBAs and 100 gigabit NICs that I've got was complete overkill. So that definitely, I think, can be a upgrade also to our GPU server at the same time. I think we're actually going to see, we'll test out in a future video here, an increase in performance by switching from the EPYC over to the ThreadRipper. This will be a pretty interesting test. We actually tested this once way in the past and we found that we did. Will that still hold today is a great question. All right. And this case is just like that. So to get the front off, you basically have to take all the screws on the perimeter off and undo all this stuff if you want to actually get in here. Yeah. It is so awesome to have a good workbench if you're doing something like this. Oh my gosh. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this actually is going to fit in here. And boy, it really does look like it will. So let me hold that there and get past those. Oh yeah, that's gonna line up just quite well. So like I mentioned, no center support here. I mean, that would be up to you to decide whether you think you need something behind it or not. I don't think actually I'm gonna bother. And you always wanna line a card all the way up. It looks like it is a good fit right there. And then we'll test out the PSU, and I think it's gonna fit. So I think we're gonna get totally lucky here on getting this all together. Now we're probably gonna have to salvage the fan for the shroud that plugs in right here. Okay, there we go. All right, let's test out the PSU in there and see. I think that will be good enough. Let me see. This just plugs in there. This one comes down here. Yeah, I think this will all work out pretty nicely. And since it's laying on its side, it's not going to have like weight really pushing down like that. So I think this should work out really great. It looks like a wins all around here on this transplant so far. I'm going to be replacing the E5 2696 V4 with an E5 2618L V4. This is probably going to be just a fine swap also. I think the performance is going to still be really good. Let's power up the Z440 based 4U storage server head-in now. And this is what we ended up with. I think there were quite a few changes, and I'm gonna run you through those really quickly. Using the stock fans is a must, and the reason you gotta use the stock fans is because it can present a break in the boot, so you don't want that. So the back original chassis fan and the small chassis fan are both affixed up there, and then we've got another one over here that we have, like, this one is kind of weird. We've got this just very much attached to with some zip ties that very janky, possibly, but also doing something really good. It is helping cool the 100 gigabit NIC, which is right here, and is a very, very hot card. We have the P2000 here, and this is actually moving a lot of air down here. So these are all the chassis fans. These are all the stock chassis fans that came with it, just repurposed. So there's not even any external fans other than the fans that it came with that are running. Now, I do have a fan in the front, but it's not actually plugged in and running right now. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, but probably end up doing something a little different. We also have our 6 SSD drive bay here, although I've only got 4 populated, and I've got 1 Blu-ray drive, and I'm going to put a DVD drive in here most likely. That way when we're ripping our movies that we have, which we have a huge collection of bought movies that we've just stockpiled for all these years, getting them down to digital format, we've got a DVD and a Blu-ray to rip those down. This right here was probably one of the things that didn't work out very well at all. This is the old front plate. You do have to have this kind of plugged in, or you can do a USB bypass also, but you're going to have to do one of those two things. And this is just some gaff tape that I put on the back. As you see, it looks like it's kind of tilted back a little bit. That's just kind of the way that it wanted to rest. I tried hot gluing it in there and some other stuff. It just didn't really work out that great. But overall, I've got to say,
our 2.5 gigabit NIC, our 100 gigabit NIC, our P2000 with 5 gigabytes of RAM, and 2 SAS HBAs, 16Es. These are gonna definitely be able to power quite a bit of performance on our storage head end, and this entire unit just massively repurposed. Really cool. I think this is, I hope, going to really be able to hold some performance numbers up like we were seeing with the other one, but overall, this is just saving me just so much money by going with this route, and the ability to have cost savings of maybe potentially up to $2,800 from the resale and repurposing of these systems is an awesome insight into what you are usually going to do if you're a home labber. Looking for ways to optimize your capital is something that is an incredibly important aspect to maintaining and updating and having a good, productive, and ever-evolving home lab. Very stoked with this new setup. Let's get this buttoned back up and put back into the rack. Storage server going back in. The sound of hard drives spinning up, their little heads seeking to their positions so they can start their ZFSing. I think this is a hell of a good storage stack, and this cost optimization that I've done with the Z440 is still going to yield insanely good performance on it. And this also is going to allow me to have probably better performance on our local AI stack because the ThreadRipper, a little bit faster, really going to be able to test that out in some upcoming video, probably the next video, where I'm going to put the ThreadRipper WRX80 combo head-to-head against the MZ32AR0. That is a whole 1 gigahertz of difference in the speed of those two CPUs. So I think we will see, we did test this in the past, but I think we will see confirmed again that you will see faster inference based upon your single threaded performance of your CPU. Exciting, exciting. You can, of course, follow along with our videos. I believe this could classify as part 6 of our Home Lab Garage Data Center AI build out. This is the optimized storage head end, I guess would be the name for this. And you can also learn more about the prior video that we did where we really had this insane 18 gigabytes per second speed that we were able to hit with those spindles right over there.